So the war in Ukraine is heating up. Meanwhile, India and China are mending ties. The thaw on the border has opened more doors for cooperation. China is eager for a quick return to normalcy. Yesterday, the foreign ministers met in Rio. That's S. Jaishankar from India and Wang Yi from China. They had a meeting on the sidelines of the G20 Summit in Brazil. And what did they talk about? Broadly, four things. Number one, resuming the Kailash Mansarovar pilgrimage. Number two, sharing data on border rivers. 3, restarting direct flights between India and China. And 4, media exchanges. India and China are making headway on these fronts. The specifics are still being hashed out, but as tensions on the border ease, other aspects of the relationship are also being normalized. And China is particularly keen on the resumption of flights. Reports say Beijing is looking for a total reset. It wants to get back to doing business with India. That's the term they used, get back to doing business. And why is Beijing so eager? Thanks to the United States. China believes that ties with the US will worsen in the months ahead. In January, Donald Trump will be back in the White House. He has threatened a trade war with China. He wants to slap high tariffs on Chinese imports, tariffs as high as 60%. That's the promise that Donald Trump made during his election campaign. This week, Xi Jinping has warned against such policies.
In an age of flourishing sci-tech revolution, neither decoupling nor supply chain disruption is the solution. Only mutually beneficial cooperation can lead to common development. Small yard, high fences is not what a major country should pursue.
But China doesn't want to take any chances. So it is exploring alternatives, and India is an attractive one. Business owners in Shanghai, Shenzhen and Beijing are bullish on India. They are pushing for more trade and investment deals. And Wang Yi seems to have passed this message to S. Jaishankar. He also said that both sides need, and I'm quoting, more trust, more mutual trust and less suspicion. This is something that India's army chief has also been saying. That's General Upendra Dwivedi. Last month he said that the PLA, the Chinese military, needs to restore trust. And he's right. It was China that betrayed India's trust by disrupting peace at the border, by sending troops without provocation and by repeated incursion attempts. So China will have to make amends. Almost a month since the border deal, the disengagement process is complete. Troops on both sides have pulled back from the last remaining flashpoints. Beijing says the progress has been smooth.
According to the recently agreed solution between India and China on border-related issues, the frontline armies of both sides are implementing relevant work, with smooth progress so far.
While disengagement is important, it's just the first step. The process of stabilizing the border is not complete yet. 2 more steps remain: de-escalation and de-induction of troops. What does that mean? Well, de-escalation means scaling down the overall troop presence on both sides, also fewer patrols. And then we have de-induction. De-induction means relocating soldiers from forward positions, also pulling back heavy equipment from the region. India and China are still far from this stage. They've only completed the first step, disengagement. Troops have pulled back from close contact areas. The larger border remains heavily militarized, though, and considering China's track record, it could flare up again. If the PLA attempts another misadventure, the situation could easily become volatile. So India needs to remain cautious. Last month, Prime Minister Modi met Xi Jinping in Russia on the sidelines of the BRICS summit. It was their first bilateral meeting in 5 years. It happened right after the border agreement was announced. Now, Jaishankar has met Wang Yi in Rio, and India's defense minister has met his Chinese counterpart, that's Rajnath Singh and Dong Jun. This meeting happened today in Laos. We're waiting to see what came out of it, but it's safe to assume that the border situation was discussed. That's 3 high-level meetings in a month. Clearly, engagements have resumed at the top level. It's a positive sign. India must engage and hope to make progress without letting its guard down.